Welcome to our video on the 20 most mismanaged football stadiums in England. These are the grounds where poor planning, financial missteps, and sheer bad luck have left their mark. From unsafe conditions to failed upgrades, these stadiums have faced challenges that have affected both their clubs and their fans. So let's dive in. 20. Ricoh Arena. The arena had the ambition to be a modern fortress. But what Coventry fans got instead was a political minefield. This stadium was supposed to be a new era for Coventry City, replacing the old Highfield Road. But from the very beginning, the club didn't even own it. Instead, they were tenants in their own home. Multiple legal battles with landlords, especially Wasps Rugby Club, led to the team being kicked out twice. 19. Sixfield Stadium. This stadium faces years of legal chaos and unfinished promises. In 2014, a £10 million loan from the local council was supposed to revamp the East Stand. Instead, most of that money mysteriously vanished. The stand remains incomplete to this day. The fallout was huge. Legal investigations, fan protests, and even a brief court threat of eviction. One supporter called it the ghost of a stadium improvement. 18. The Valley. Charlton's The Valley has had more ownership drama than a soap opera. From being kicked out in the 80s and forced to play at Selhurst Park, to multiple ownership groups in the 2010s, leaving the club in freefall, it's been chaos. Boardroom infighting, fan boycotts, Belgian ownership debacles, and now, constant takeover rumors. The Valley feels like a sleeping giant, underused and underloved. 17. Boundary Park. Oldham was Premier League founding members. But now, Boundary Park is a cold symbol of decline. Literally cold, it's one of the highest altitude stadiums in England. But behind the charm lie years of ownership disputes and broken promises. The North Stand project was meant to rejuvenate the club. Instead, it sparked legal battles between the club and council. The roof leaks. Training facilities were shut. 16. Bloomfield Road. After Blackpool's Premier League stint in 2010-11, the stadium became a battleground. For years, fans boycotted games in protest against the Oyston family's ownership. Attendance dropped to record lows. One game had fewer than 2,000 in the stands. Imagine a stadium echoing with silence instead of chants. After a long legal war, the Oystons were finally ousted in 2019. But the scars remain. 15. London Stadium. This is one of the biggest financial flops in English football. The London Stadium was never meant for football. And that's the problem. West Ham left the Bowling Ground in 2016, hoping for a bigger future. Instead, they entered a taxpayer-funded money pit with terrible sightlines, a running track, and poor acoustics. The cost to the public is over £750 million. 14. Loftus Road. This is a completely outdated stadium. There's barely any space between seats. Facilities are cramped. Some away fans joke that it's like watching from your neighbor's front garden. Despite QPR's financial backing in the early 2010s, no serious stadium upgrade came. Plans for a new ground came and went. Nothing stuck. With no clear stadium future, QPR risks being left behind by clubs with modern facilities. 13. Globe Arena. This stadium has had more than its fair share of issues. Ownership rows have dominated headlines in recent years. Maintenance is poor. The pitch has been waterlogged or frozen on several occasions, forcing match delays. Fans complain of basic facilities. The club's owners have changed more than once in the last few seasons, and each time, promises were made, then broken. 12. Fratton Park. In the late 2000s, Portsmouth went from FA Cup winners to administration, and Fratton Park took the hit. Cracked walls, rusted seating, and safety issues. At one point, fans feared the stadium would be condemned. Under new ownership, gradual repairs have started. But it's slow, and decades of neglect can't be fixed overnight. Still, the atmosphere here is electric when packed. 11. Hillsborough. While the history here is rich, the stadium's management has been problematic, particularly regarding safety and underfunding. Hillsborough was at the center of the infamous 1989 disaster, where 96 Liverpool fans tragically lost their lives due to overcrowding in the Leppings Lane stand. In the aftermath, the ground failed to implement necessary safety upgrades for years, and this failure hurt the club's reputation. 10. Reebok Stadium. Bolton Wanderers moved here from their old burned-in park ground with hopes of reaching the Premier League and securing a bright future. At first, it was everything a club could want, but over time, financial mismanagement caught up with the club. The Reebok Stadium quickly went from a shining example to a symbol of Bolton's struggles. A series of poor financial decisions, including the sale of the stadium's naming rights. 9. Prenton Park. While it may boast a charming, old-school atmosphere, the stadium has suffered from multiple failed plans to modernize. Located in Birkenhead, just across the Mersey from Liverpool, it has long struggled to compete with more modern venues in the region. Ownership turmoil and a lack of investment have compounded the stadium's issues. The club struggles to attract the necessary funding to develop Prenton Park. 8. Biscott Stadium. Now known as the Banks' Stadium, it opened in 1990 as a modern replacement for Walsall's Old Fellows Park ground. The hope was that the new stadium would help boost the club's fortunes and attract a larger fan base. But the stadium's development has been marred by a stalled surrounding area and poor planning. While the ground itself isn't terrible, the experience around it is lackluster. 7. Plough Lane. The old Plough Lane was a much-loved, unique ground that had a lot of character. However, it was sold off to developers in the late 90s, leading to the club's eventual relocation and the birth of MK Dons. The destruction of the old Plough Lane led to the heartbreaking saga of AFC Wimbledon, which started from scratch and eventually returned to its home ground in a new stadium. 6. Cassim Stadium. Despite the promise of a fresh start, Cassim Stadium quickly became infamous for its poor location, lack of ownership, and lack of development around the site. Oxford United doesn't even own the stadium. It's a rental from the property developers who built it. The stadium is missing a stand, leaving fans exposed to the elements, and has faced several challenges in terms of accessibility and fan experience. 5. Meadowbank Stadium. Originally built for athletics, the ground became the home of Livingston FC in 1995 after the club's formation. However, the club's attempt to expand and turn it into a football-specific stadium led to debt and financial troubles. The expansion was poorly planned, and the resulting debt nearly led to the collapse of the club. Meadowbank is a warning to others in UK football. 4. Madejski Stadium. This was built as a modern, state-of-the-art venue for Reading FC in the late 1990s. At first, it seemed like a step forward for the club, offering better facilities and a larger capacity. But the stadium has suffered from several issues, including ownership problems and a disconnect between the club and its fans. While the ground is still well-designed, it has become underused in recent years. 3. Brunton Park. Built on a floodplain, the stadium has been regularly damaged by bad weather, making it a constant challenge for the club. Despite its historical significance, the stadium has not been future-proofed, and plans to relocate or redevelop it have often been delayed or cancelled due to financial constraints. This has left Carlisle United stuck in a cycle of temporary fixes rather than long-term solutions. 2. Kenilworth Road. Located in a residential area, fans have to enter the stadium through back gardens, which gives the ground a quirky, almost nostalgic feel. But when it comes to modern football, Kenilworth Road is a nightmare. Luton Town has been stuck in this cramped, outdated stadium for years. Despite the club's recent successes, the lack of upgrades until very recently has been a major challenge. 1. Roots Hall. Southend United's longtime home has been neglected for years. While the club chased a shiny new stadium at Fawcett's Farm, Roots Hall was left to decay. The move never happened. Funding collapsed, and the old stadium crumbled. Leaks, broken seating, and closed stands have plagued the venue. The club was even locked out of the ground at one point due to unpaid debts. And there you have it. These 20 stadiums represent a mix of history, mismanagement, and missed opportunities. However, with the right investment and planning, many of them still have the potential for a bright future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more football content. See you in the next video.